It was a game that always had the potential to erupt, and Argentina v Wales in 1999 certainly delivered on that front. Prior to the match, Wales coach Graham Henry warned his players, "They will throw the kitchen sink at yous." As it turned out, the washing machine and fridge freezer was part of the deal too. In many ways, it was an historic game for all the right reasons. Jenkins passed the 800-point mark in international rugby, and Wales secured a first-ever series success in the Southern Hemisphere. But Argentina 16, Wales 23, in balmy Buenos Aires that year, will forever be remembered for the mother of all punch-ups that started out on the pitch and ended up in the dugout. Wales had won the first test 36-26 against the Pumas at the same Faro Carol Oeste Stadium just 7 days earlier. But even Henry's battle-hardened side, featuring the likes of Craig and Scott Quinnell, Gareth Jenkins, Peter Rogers, Chris Wyatt, Alan Bateman, Rob Howley and Gareth Thomas, were about to face something they had rarely encountered before. So what was the spark to ignite the Argentine flame that resulted in Argentina prop Mauricio Reggiardo punching Wales left wing James to set in motion a dust-up that sent advertising hoardings crashing to ground? A slight against Argentina's biggest weapon, Newport prop Rogers, who was yellow-carded by English referee Chris White for his part in the melee, alongside front-row enforcer Reggiardo and lock Pedro Sporlitter, was in no doubt blunting the renowned Pumas. Scrummage was at the center of it all. In the 28th minute, the Pumas are not only shoved backwards by the Welsh 8, they are pushed over the touchline and halfway into their own dugout. Stunned by the caning they have received from Henry's pack, the hosts triggered a mass brawl. "I ended up with an umbrella on top of me, one of their guys had me by the neck and another one was punching me," recalled Rogers. "They were supposed to be the best in the world, and the bottom line was that they didn't like what we were doing to them. I remember in the first 5 minutes of the first test we had a scrum 5 meters from our own line. I was apprehensive, but we got the shove on them. That set the tone. From then on they became obsessed with trying to prove they were more powerful than us. Maybe they were bigger, maybe they were heavier, but we had strength and technique on our side. By the time that first test was over, they were accusing us of cheating, saying that it was the same as ever. Off the pitch, when we mingled together, they were the nicest bunch of blokes you could wish to meet." Welsh prop Peter Rogers. Wales were leading 8-6 at the time as a Neil Jenkins penalty was added by Gareth Jenkins' second test try in 44 caps as the hooker latched onto a Bateman pass to cross the whitewash. But the punch-up fired up the home side to hit back despite Wales have the numerical advantage as Felipe Contepomi put them into a 9-8 lead with a brace of penalties. They failed to hold on until halftime, with Jenkins regaining the lead for Wales during injury time. The boot of Jenkins stretched the Welsh lead to 14 points in the second period before desperate Argentine running brought Jose Orengo a late try, converted by Jose Silly. Intimidation is not an option for Ponty Prid's Geraint Lewis, who played blindside flanker that day in place of Colin Jarvis. It was a game that will live long in the memory in more ways than one. "It was a really important game because we had the chance to become the first Northern Hemisphere team to win a test series in Argentina," he said. "We were very aware that the Pumas were going to be extremely physical after losing the first test. They are a proud nation and proud about their rugby. That defeat would have hurt them, especially as they had dominated the first half and been so far in front. So we were expecting them to come out really fired up and looking to batter us. But we were determined not to be intimidated. We all stuck together and refused to take a backward step. Argentina had the reputation as a formidable forward unit, but our front five were outstanding on the day. They dominated the Puma pack, which was a rare thing to happen to the Argentinians, especially in their own country. Jenkins gouged by Argentine forwards during the game against Argentina in the World Cup 1999. It wound them up and they got really frustrated that they weren't having things their own way as they were used to. Those frustrations boiled over and you ended up with all hell breaking out on the touchline. These things happen in rugby from time to time, but I guess this one was a bit out of the ordinary. You don't often see players slugging it out in the dugout. A lot of people remember that incident, and I suppose it did look spectacular at the time. We worked really hard to nullify Argentina's strength and they didn't like it. We managed to match them physically, and if you can do that, you are halfway to beating them. It's a war of attrition out there, and if you can win that war, you win the game. Wales certainly did that, and in a little under 4 months later came the third act of their 1999 epic in the opening match of the Rugby World Cup. Henry's side won that 23-18, but it didn't pass by without incident as Jarvis and Puma's prop Roberto Grau received 2 match bans for punching.